So I spent about 5 months saving up for the Canon C100 Mark II, and let me tell you, I am not disappointed. I got it used on Adorama for around $1,200, and I also got a Sigma 24-70mm art lens with it. The Sigma was brand new, but the camera was used. I was actually originally going to get either the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K or the Canon EOS R and build it up as a cinema camera. Even though these cameras are newer and shoot 4K, I decided it would have been inefficient and costly to build them up as cinema cameras. The Canon C100 Mark II shoots in HD, but in my opinion, it is far more worth it than the Blackmagic, any of the new mirrorless cameras. One reason why I really like the C100 is that it's real. And what I mean by this is that it is an actual cinema camera. It's in the Canon cinema camera lineup. It's heavy, it has a fan, has a top handle and a side grip, and the top handle actually has XLR inputs. It has focus peaking and zebras, and it actually comes with a cinema color profile, and it also has view assist, which I can put on, which basically applies a placeholder LUT so I can sort of have an idea of what the footage will look like color graded. It also has a bunch of buttons on the side which are actually customizable, so I can change the different uses of buttons. For instance, on the side grip, there is one button that is for zooming in, but I thought it would be much more useful to have the autofocus lock since my hand is right there, and that's something I'll be using a lot more often. It also has 6 stops of built-in ND filters. If I got the Blackmagic or the EOS R, I would just have to get a filter that screws onto the lens. And it's really nice that the ND filter is between the lens and the sensor in this camera. Speaking of the sensor, it has a 4K sensor. Even though it outputs to 1080p, you still get a really sharp image, but you're not dealing with large file sizes. Like I said, it shoots at 1080p and it shoots at 24, 30, and 60 frames per second. And for the shutter speed, I really like that I can do it by shutter angle instead of shutter speed. It's just a lot easier since it's exactly at 180 degrees, so I don't have to round to 1/50th for the 180-degree shutter rule. Despite not being a full-frame camera, the low light is amazing. It goes up to 20,000 ISO, and at that point, it's still pretty usable. If you just watched my last video on the Canon Rebel T5i here, you'll know that one thing I really don't like about it is how slow the autofocus is. When it was my main camera, it would really hold me back because I just had to make sure everything was in focus, but with this, I really don't have to worry about that. The C100 has dual pixel autofocus, and it only focuses on what's in this center third right here. So as soon as I leave it, focuses on that. You can even see there. Autofocus, in focus, autofocus, in focus. And that just really stresses the importance of having the autofocus lock because I can get my subject in focus, turn on the autofocus lock, and then compose the shot how I really want to compose it. I would definitely recommend this camera for someone who is ready to take their videography to the next step and someone who is really starting to get into freelance. Because in my opinion, you really shouldn't invest your money into something that's just gonna be a hobby. With the lens and everything, I invested about $3,000 into this camera, and that's $3,000 you don't want going down the drain. You want to make that back. So it is my expectation that I will make that back with this camera. I'm keeping track of it. But odds are you're gonna be able to achieve a lot more with this camera than just a DSLR. Plus it looks professional on jobs, so you're more likely to be rehired or referred to. Even when I was filming my last choir concert, which I do for free, someone came up to me and was like, hey, do you wanna film this thing next week? And I was like, sure. At the end of the day, it's not about the gear, but it is relatively inexpensive based on where you look. I would definitely recommend looking for something used on Adorama or B&H. Even though it's an old camera, it doesn't take away the fact that it is just as capable as any other cinema camera today. I mean, it makes sense. A cinema camera made 6 years ago is gonna be better than a camcorder made today. So is it worth it in 2021? Yeah, no question. Of course it is. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have been enjoying the review videos. I know it's not my typical content, but if you like them, just leave a comment down below, hit that like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.